Hello, my name is Tina Ford, and I'm the founder of the Moms Group Incorporated here in Clairton, PA. Today, here I will be speaking with Marie Short, who is one of the members of our group, and she will tell you her story. Hi, Marie. How are you today?
I'm good.
Can you tell me a little bit about your son?
Well, Greg, he had a smile that will light up a room. His he, his laughter, it was contagious. He loved to make people laugh. That's just who he was. He was a loving father. He cared about his children. He was a provider and a protector of his family.
Now, Giovanna is the mother of his children. You have how many children together?
Too.
Two. Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about Greg?
Absolutely. Greg was very powerful, consistent, strong man. Um, he was dedicated to his family and everything that he did, regardless of the life he lived. He always took care of us. Um, Greg's legacy started at a very young age. Um, I can remember stories of things that he would tell me, um, concerning being his mom's only child and, trying to be the man of the house and control of everything. Um, so the way he was raised is the way he left us today. And like she said, he had a smile that lit up a room. And anytime he came, his aura set the vibe for a very great atmosphere in which it was empowering to people. He drew the crowd wherever he was at. So,
So can you let us know how when you first received the phone call about Greg?
Yes. On May 6, 2013, I was just sitting in my room, sitting in my rocking chair, just reading my Bible. And I just believed that God was preparing me for that moment. I can't really explain it how calm I was. When I received the call, his girlfriend was crying, telling me that he had been shot and that they was rushing him to Mercy Hospital. And I knew that wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going downstairs to tell my mom, and surprisingly, I'm still calm after, telling her, and after telling my mom, I'm still calm. After just receiving the phone call that my son was shot and he would be possibly dying, I remember going to my SUV, getting in my SUV, picking up two friends so I wouldn't be alone. When I got to the hospital, his father and I was taken to the back. We were told that he was shot in the back of his head, but he can still hear us and he still has some motor skills. But there was nothing more important to me than to make sure my baby was with God if he wasn't going to be able to stay here with me. I remember praying, Lord, please let me make it there on time to say the sinner's prayer with him. And he did. Still hurt,
Mm-hmm.
but knowing that I would see my son again in heaven and that God is with me every step of this journey,
Mm-hmm.
it gives me so much peace.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you say that God was preparing you, I felt the same way too with Armani. For a year before, he was murdered, I started reading my Bible, listening to gospel, and doing different things, and doing one kind act, good kind act, a day. Just different things that was trying to make me a better person. And then it seemed like once and I always felt like I'm changing, I'm growing, and like, wow, like something's about to come about, and then once that happened, I mean, I was like, this is what it was. But I remember before I knew what had happened, I fell to my knees. I was getting my hair done and getting my daughter ready to go to the Air Force. And I said, they killed him. And at the moment, I didn't know it was 4 people that was involved, in killing my son. It just was like, wow, they killed him. Yeah. But it's crazy because, I mean, I always had my faith, but it's stronger than ever now.
Right.
But at that moment, I just was like, what's my purpose? Why am I here? How do I give back, become a better person? And then I thought the other day, like, wow, it took me to lose my son to learn my purpose,
Wow.
you know? So now I understand when you said when he was preparing you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, in my circumstance, of course, it was a lot different. Um, the preparation, I guess, did play a part. Um, these circumstances were very unforeseen. May 27, 2013, I was released from federal prison. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, March 27, 2013, I was released from federal prison. Um, May 6, 2013, Greg was taken away from us. Um, I kind of didn't get an opportunity to get the call, but I got the call. I was in an institution halfway in, halfway out, and in places like that, you still get to deal with the outside community. You may not get to,
Mm-hmm.
touch them, see them as often. However, I was on a phone call with someone at the moment that it was happening that had received a text message from one of my cousins, in which it was just general conversation. But because him and I were on the phone, he couldn't react to it no other kind of way, but telling me just what it was. Um, Hold up, wait a minute. I just got a text message. They said El Dog just got shot. That's your baby's dead, right? And I said, yeah. I said, what? He said, man, hang up the phone and call his mom. But I was so astonished that I couldn't believe it that I just was stuck for a while. To whereas he had to disconnect the call for me to grab hold of myself to call his mom. Um, so I can't remember if I reached out to Miss Marie first or if it was Ashley first, which was at the time his former girlfriend. But the feedback that I got, it just wasn't good. I just remember it being, I got to get to the hospital. I already contacted Miss Marie, things of that nature. And here I am, this lonely soul with nothing to hold on to but the power of God. And I just remember losing it and running downstairs to the cleaning supply room where we would go and get the mop bucket and stuff like that to clean out our area. And I just screamed, and I just screamed, and I just screamed, and I just screamed. And then, of course, at that point, from the passing of noise, they reached out to supervisors and, everyone came to the floor to find out what had happened. And at that time, because I was so fresh, it was totally against the rule for the federal agencies to allow me to proceed for any of his last breaths, unfortunately. So I didn't make it to the hospital. Um, they did authorize me for a 4-hour pass for the wait for the few. Um, and I think the transformation began during the progression down the aisle to the casket when my son and my daughter had encountered her dad.
It's a hard thing. I definitely is.
And for someone to tell you you only have this amount of time to do this and that's it, is kind of what still causes this grief-stricken feeling in me. But I've been trying to balance it out for the better and be there as much as I can for Miss Marie and be a role model for my kids, even though,
It's hard.
things happen.
But see, the good thing is you have grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have grandchildren. My son was 23, so there is no grandchildren. You know, so I have to keep his legacy alive,
Right.
you know, through me, which,
Right.
you know, I do. I do the turkey drives, do his clothing line, you know what I mean? Then, but it feels like it's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I want everybody to know who Armani Ford was. And it just seems like the more you do, it don't seem like it's enough, you know? And I was trying to explain to somebody, how does it feel when you lose your child? And it's like, you know, how you want something to eat, but you don't know what you want. Like you can't put your finger on it. You know what I mean? It's like that. Like you're just seem like little pieces just never satisfied, you know? And then I read this book that was saying how we say that we're broken. And the words in the book was saying that you're not broken if you can still be sad and happy and love and have faith.
Right.
You know, but that's the textbook quote. You know what I mean? When you talk to us, we're broken. You know what I mean? Because we're missing that piece. You know.
Absolutely.
So how long has it been gone? 7 years. So me going on 2 years is the same as your 7.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're gonna you still have those moments.
Still have those memories.
Mm-hmm. You have to.
Right.
That's where your faith in God comes into play. I remember telling somebody too, you know, remember we would have our meetings, and, you know, she would say that she didn't believe in God. That was the moment right there where you say, hey, I'm not understanding, you know, God, okay, I'm mad at you. I guess, you know, you being a Christian woman, you know, is that how you could look at it and say, like, hey, I'm upset, I'm mad at God, but still have your respect in your faith?
I was never mad at God.
Right.
Like I said, I was never mad at God.
Mm-hmm.
I had peace, and I knew God is sovereign. He can do what He wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
He is the great I am that I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love Him. And it's like if He took anything else from me, it's like, I'ma still serve Him. I'ma still love Him. I'ma still worship Him. Because that's who I am. That's who I am. I am a worshiper.
Yeah, I was like you. I wasn't angry and I didn't question it. Mm-hmm. But for somebody who is watching, you know, this podcast and sitting up here, you know, listening to us, can we honestly tell them it's okay to be upset, to be mad at God? And
I mean, I feel like it's an emotion, just like being happy or sad. It doesn't matter. It's a choice that you make. And in order to be able to understand, you have to accept. So whether or not your God is my God, your beliefs are my beliefs, it starts within the heart of accepting what has happened and going from that point forward would be my perspective on it.
Yeah. So is your case still open or closed?
It's closed. Unfortunately, there was never enough concrete evidence to convict a murderer.
So like all murders that go unsolved, they want someone to point at the person being accused of doing it and say, hey, they did it, I seen it, and then that's how they get a conviction.
Right. By the law.
Right.
But not by the land.
Right, definitely. Because once again, the streets always knows,
Mm-hmm.
but we
They
live
do.
by that code. I don't know how are we going to get over that street code.
I think it'd be more easy to attack it if we would love one another. You don't gotta like me, but just love me.
Right.
I am you, you are me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's been mistaken. And I can only speak on the behalf of being on the flip side, understanding what it feels like to try to go from being innocent or try to basically be something I'm not. Because obviously, if I'm in the way, I went to prison, there was a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I didn't have it all.
Right.
However, I don't let it define me. I don't get angry with people about it. There's a lot of circumstances that led up to my life being transformed. However, the only thing I do sometimes struggle is wanting to have a reason why.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We all
So,
do. We do. And then it's just selfish. I mean, it's selfish and it's senseless because, finding out that the reason why they killed my son is because the guy wanted to rob my son to go to the prom. So you value going to the prom and dressing up and, the limo and the whole being happy, but you was willing to rob somebody and then the act of robbing them, you killed them. But you say it's an accident. I can't go on that. I can't say, oh, it was an accident. I can leave here and go see my son.
mm-hmm.
No,
Right,
the accident don't have them sitting at home.
right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I
That's
don't have to be okay with it. I just accept it and I don't dwell on it.
right.
Right. You can't because it'll eat you up.
And you know what? I deal with that all the time too, because I look at these people in my face everywhere I'm at.
Yeah.
But who am I
Right.
to say to you, why did you do that?
Mm-hmm.
They know what they did.
Yeah, they know what they did.
They know what they did.
Definitely.
And by all means, if the law couldn't convict them, God has already done it. So that allows me the peace. When I see them, I can still smile and keep my head up high because I see them from mama to daddy to sister to brother.
Yeah.
And I just choose to rise above it because at the end of the day, the physical fight is done. But the mental.
And the crazy part about it is people tell on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the funeral, you notice how you had some people who didn't come that you thought should have been there, or some people who don't speak now like they used to. You know what I mean? And stuff like this, it separates a lot of people.
It does.
Friendship and sometimes some family member.
Yeah.
Because they just be shamed. One problem I had with being at the young boys who were involved, a lot of like the grandmother or aunties, sisters took on that responsibility. You didn't pull the trigger.
Right.
You didn't do it.
Right.
So I'm not going to fault you for that. So don't, question my character because you knew me when it was good.
Right.
So you have to know me when it's bad.
Right.
So if our kids was playing and something happened, I wouldn't take that out on you.
Right.
Because we're adults. Kids have to be responsible.
Right.
But in a small town like Clariton, like it is, people take on different things. Everybody's related. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you don't speak, then you won't speak. You
Follow
know what
command.
I mean? Yes.
Follow command.
Yeah. So life is hard. We have to figure out a way to deal with stuff.
Absolutely.
And there's no textbook. And in our group, we always talk about therapy. And my therapist sent me a letter, and it's like, if you don't respond, unfortunately, we have to let you go. And unfortunately, my therapist went through it. She lost a child. But before that, I can't talk to people who don't walk in my shoes.
Right.
Because you don't know.
Right.
You can say all day, how are you doing? How are you feeling? I know how I'm doing, how I'm feeling. I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place. I have my moments when I know if I don't cry, literally, I'm like, I keep going upstairs to get what? I'm running out the door, but I forget. And then how you go back? Do everybody go back and check their stove?
Oh my!
It's my stove. Did I lock the door? And I was like, wait, this is my moment. I'm all over the place.
Right.
Yeah. But at least I don't have to do it alone. Unfortunately, I have you ladies to turn to, and we speak and we talk.
Right.
But I think this is necessary if you haven't lost a child, you're going to know how it is to lose a child.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't get right with your kids, unfortunately, we're going to have more members.
Right.
And it's sad. It's definitely sad. So, anything else you want to say and put out there?
Love your family. Hold tight to them. Let them know that you care about them. Create memories. Create memories with them. And just love on them. Just love on them. And keep God first. I thank you and appreciate you for giving me this time, this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank God for you. And God bless you.
Thank
You and yours.
Same to you. Everything you say?
I would also piggyback and
Mm-hmm.
relate to the fact of love your family.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I've learned, death is promised.
Mm-hmm.
So we all got to get ready.
You
Being a mother of 3 fatherless children, it hit different.
do.
If I couldn't say anything more powerful, I would just say define your destiny. Whatever it is you want to do it and stay on go. Because we come in together physically somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
but we leave alone. So the moment that you got to breathe, share a random act of kindness.
Yeah.
You don't have to be that person in the room that wants to be the toughest or the greatest or the flyest. Just be who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Being who you are is just enough.
Definitely. So we need to bring back Takes a Village.
Yes, it definitely takes a village.
Yeah. Where did we lose that at? Somewhere we lost it. I mean, I didn't like it growing up where, everybody was like, you out on the street, what you doing chewing gum? Then, when we were as girls, it was like, what you want that lip gloss
Right.
on? You ain't out lip gloss, stuff like that. But it helped you.
It did.
You know what I mean? Now it's scary if you say something to a kid
Right.
and they go to their mom, and then we have the new generation moms who's like,
Right.
not my kid.
Right. They don't do nothing wrong. It
Yeah.
was yours. I don't
Right.
care.
Right.
No compromise.
And then I think our childhood was a lot better because we weren't pressured to look like this and have this hair and this person. We didn't have cell phones.
Right.
And TVs was limited. So you had one TV in the living room,
Mm-hmm.
and they controlled what you watched. Yes, it did. Right. And it was stuff like that. I would tell my daughter, like, even when our parents had house parties, and it was like, you wasn't heard or seen. Like, if you knew your mom's friends was coming over, y'all would go upstairs, PJs, like slumber party, you know what I mean? And you stayed in that room because you would never see your parents drink or smoke if they did or nothing, You went to church on Sundays and then you went to school, you know what I mean? I thought that was the perfect childhood.
Right.
But, now you hear kids is barely eating and, they getting beat on, and you got the 13-year-olds looking like they 21. And you just be like, wow.
My grandparents always told me it starts at home.
Right.
So I make sure before I leave out the door that everything is intact, I's are dotted, T's are crossed,
Mm-hmm.
and the kids are following the lead because it's very important. Because now in this society we're living in, aside from the pandemic, I mean, it's only one way to go. Either you're going to be violent or you're not.
Right.
And if you ain't, then you got to go.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard. It really is hard. But it's all about wanting to rise above what we think is the norm.
Yeah.
It's not the norm.
Right. It's not the norm to be sitting here talking about we lost our son,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was my only son, but not my only child. But that was your only child.
My only son.
Yes.
Yeah. When it just happened, it's just like, I would never hear the word mom.
Mm-hmm.
I would never hear mom again.
Mm-hmm.
Mom, what you doing? Mom, can you come get me? Mom, I would never hear that again.
Because believe me, they mommed us out, didn't they?
Yes.
Boys love their mamas, and they will mom you to death.
Yes.
Oh, yes, they will. But then, too, I'm the opposite. I never hear grandma as far as through my son. And my daughter was like, Mom, do you mind if would you be upset if I didn't want to have children? I said, it's your life,
Right.
you know. But he was forward, so that the forward would have went, the legacy would have went on forward through him. You know, being that I was married with my daughter, she's a Johnson, you know, so it's like in my house there's no forward. It's just me, you know.
Right.
You know, that's the only thing. But you think about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because it's important to us, you know, to hold on to that, but to somebody else, you know, they probably really don't think about it or, you know, take it for granted, but you can't.
Right.
You definitely can't. So, but yeah, I appreciate you being in our group. We came a long way. Definitely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right.
But look at me now.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yes. Yes. Purpose. Yes. We definitely have a purpose. But yeah, I appreciate you coming on, both of y'all speaking. And then have a good conversation. We will do this again. We'll do a lot more things because I really focus on legacy and it's needed for our children.
Right.
You know, they're going to know Greg, they're going to know Armani, they're going to know all of our kids. Definitely. So I thank you for tuning in, and I hope it was very, you got some good knowledge and information. If you're dealing with things out there with coping with grief and the loss of your child, you reach out to the Moms Group. We have a website, it's momsgroup.inc.org. The phone number here is 412-628-0665. And the email address is tina@momsgroupinc.org. And enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.